After so much requests, I'm here to perform the benchmark of this game. Welcome guys, welcome to my channel. I'm the Obscure Angel PT, and for today we have here Sword Art Online Feral Bullets, developed by Timps, and they are using Unreal Engine 4. I'm not really sure about the pasts of this developer, to be honest. I didn't even search for it, but here we are with the game. So let me show you the settings that I'm going to play in here the game. Of course I am going to test multiple other settings, but here are my favorite settings for this game. Anti-aliasing set to median and blend occlusion set to off. Shadow quality set to median. Okay, shadow quality only affects the character shadows in this game. All the shadows in the environment are pre-baked. Motion blur is off. Texture quality set to high. Texture quality only affects the anisotropic quality in this game. I'm going to use Vsync, and I will explain you why in no time. And depth of field is on, which I believe it only kicks in during my cutscenes where you talk. So I'm playing with 1080p borderless because it doesn't record other way, but I recommend it to use full screen. And you can choose the frame rate between 30s or 60s. And this is, you might notice that I'm using 75% resolution scaling, which means that I'm not running the game at native 1080p, but yet I'm running the game at something like 800p. And you might think, oh shit, 800p, that's below 900p, right? Yes, it's below 900p, but I will show you just why I'm using 800p instead of just using low settings or something. The problem is this game, regarding performance, playing at maximum settings, median settings, or playing at low settings barely affects the performance because the changes in graphics quality are very small. Ambient occlusion is very weak in this game. The shadow quality, like I said, it only affects the shadow quality of the characters. All the shadows on the environment are completely pre-baked, which means that it doesn't hit the performance on the graphic cards. So motion blur, it's just like usual, it doesn't consume too much frame rate. And anisotropic filtering is almost free, so there is barely a performance difference between maximum settings and low settings. And so that is why I decided to create my custom performance settings, which is more or less a median settings with 810p resolution. Okay, and by using these settings I'm able to reach 60 frames per second. Most of the time, because when you get to Remnant Wastelands, which is where you fight mobs, the action is a little bit more. There is a little bit more action, and because of that, the performance sometimes drops from the 60, but it's not really that much, to be honest. Okay, so basically, if you want to run above 30 frames per second, like averages around 50 frames per second, which is pretty good, don't get me wrong, you can use the maximum settings, no problem. Although, if you want to get 60 frames per second, more or less perfectly stable, well, in that case you will need to drop the resolution to 75%. So I have new stuff here on the channel, so as you can see you can now check the VRAM usages and stuff like that. And so the game did use 2 GB of VRAM, the RAM usage was below 4 GB, the CPU was pretty much between the 50 and 75%, and there was no bottleneck whatsoever into this game. So checking out the consistency, you can notice that in all the settings the game was below 60 frames per second pretty much 100% of the time, never reached 60, but by using my custom settings the game, well, dropped 23% of the time was below 60 frames per second. These on the last Remnant. On the city, performance was pretty much consistent around the 60 frames per second with no drops. Okay, so these were the results. So let's now talk a little bit about the game. So this is the main hub, the city, the SPC Glocken. As you can see, it's full of screen space reflections. It seems that it's very applied in here. Its reflections are real and they are everywhere. And there is no option that you can turn off that could disable the reflections. But talking again about the game, I'm not really sure what is this game about. But what I understand about the story is this game, it's that it's a tribute to the Sword Art Online mostly. So basically our character is aware that it's inside an MMO game. In this case it's a little bit futuristic because our character is aware that it's inside an MMO and is using VR technology to get there. And it's quite interesting because all the characters are completely aware of that they are inside the MMO. They congratulate themselves every time they get rare items. So it's like you are a player, okay, inside a VR MMO game. It's like you are inside the game and you are completely aware that you are inside the game. That's how the characters behave in this world, and it's actually very interesting. About the gameplay, it seems like it's more of a sponge shooter, because you spend most of its time shooting mobs and gathering goods, so it behaves like an MMORPG, to be honest, but with a story where the characters are aware that they are inside an MMO. So it's quite interesting, okay? So the frame rate in here, it is a little bit worse. This is mostly because the recorder, so that is why you are seeing worse frame rate than on the results. The recorder takes a big toll when I'm shooting, okay? It's just that. So I guess that's all that I want to talk about Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet. Hope you enjoyed the rest of the video, and I'm always forgetting about this one. If you want to get the game on Steam, I have a link on the description, but if you want to get it cheaper, I have also a link for Kinguin to the page of the game, where you can get the game cheaper than on Steam, okay? So guys, that's all. Thank you a lot for watching, and I do hope to see you soon. Goodbye. やってみせる食いつけるやったすごいのですこれでどうだ倒したすごいダメージですお疲れ様エネミーだ到着っとお疲れ様発見行くわよいいかなワッパーズのエアアイテムがお似合いで止めるやったグレネード行くわグレネード行くわすごいすごいいいじゃない入ったスナイパー注意ヘイトを散らしてくれやったアファスオンに切るすごいのです使うわよ投げるわ助けてくださいアファスオンに切るネームドエネミーだ倒せるかな目的地に到着しました手を貸してくれ貸してくれやっ倒したいいじゃない食いつけるはあ手を貸してくれきついな負けたのかオンに切るアファスオンに切る食いつける最高ですやったすごいすごい最高です
嬉しいよ。
マスターにはレアアイテムがお似合いです。これで終わり。最高です。
やっフェイトを散らしてくれ。入ったクリティカル。フェイトを散らしてくれ。クリティカル。フェイトを散らしてくれ。入ったやってみせる。
やるわね。ありがとうです。
終わりだ。賞金首だ。注意しよう。手を貸してくれ。厄介だな。アファシスオンに切る。
最高です。
これでどうだ。
機能停止します。相手にならないよ。大丈夫。
オンに切る。回復する。フェイトを散らしてくれ。
回復3級です。
回復を頼む。